concerned that your 18 to 24-month-old baby is still not walking and you're looking for some exercises and activities that you can do in the comfort of your own home, then you're in the right place watching the right video. Because in today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 different techniques that you can use to help strengthen your baby's legs and increase their confidence so that they can start walking sooner. Hi, my name is Cherrick. I've been a pediatric physical therapist for the past 25 years. And one of the most common questions that I get asked by parents that I'm working with is, when is my baby going to start walking? So I'm going to share with you all the knowledge that I have about the steps that build up to walking. But before we get into those steps and those activities, I'll ask you to comment on the video with a question if you have a question. Like it, share the video, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you can be notified the moment I drop a new video, which will be coming soon. So let's get down on the ground where all the good action happens and start with the first activity. Now I'm going to assume that your baby is already able to crawl. So now if your baby crawls and you put a toy or an object up on the couch that baby is interested in and baby can be curious to come and try to play with, then we can use that toy to help baby to get up and come and do what's called a pull to stand. So our first activity will be a pull to stand. Now if baby is on hands and knees, what I like to do is cue baby to come up on their knees and put their hands up on the couch like this, to where baby is on their knees, their hands are on the front of the couch or their hands are on the top of the couch. And what I will do is cue baby and say, well, okay, just let's get up and go play with the toy. I might hold baby's hands with my hands, put my hands on top of baby's hands, give baby a little bit of support, and cue them to stand up and reach for the toy and start playing with the toy. Now what you'll notice here, and this is the pro tip, is a lot of times, seeing that the camera's on the left side, we're going to step up with the left side. Baby will bring their foot up into this position and then stand up and bring the other leg up to where baby is standing, kind of like this, holding on to the couch, facing the couch. If you are sitting behind baby or you are kneeling behind baby, I like to put my knee here so the baby can sit on my knee. I can let baby sit on my knee. I can bend those little knees like this. And now, guess what? Baby is preloaded into the squatting position. So this is a great position to get some squats in, where I can give baby a toy to reach for, and I can give her some support around her trunk and let her use the legs to stand up. Boop. So that's the first activity. The pro tip is you want to pay attention and make sure that when you are moving from this position where baby's on her knees, that you will notice baby starts using one leg. Most of the time baby will use the right leg to bring up into this position and then stand up. What you want to do is make sure that you have baby switching legs and using both legs. So that's the first position, the pull to stand, and of course, like I said, you can include a little squatting, some squatting exercises in there. The next activity is called cruising. Once baby is in this position and I can cue baby, I like to use my pinky fingers on baby's knees, my thumbs in baby's tush, and I can cue baby to stand kind of like this, boop, and baby will normally stand. Baby will have the trunk control to be able to hold themselves up in this position. Once I have baby standing and baby is in this position, what I like to do is position a toy just out of their reach. So I might move the toy off to the side so the baby now has to reach and start reaching, moving those little hands sideways and trying to touch and grab the toy. What will happen in the beginning when you first start doing this activity is you'll see baby leaning, and we all know when our kid is about to fall, baby might look like she's going to fall. What you want to do is you can work the legs. You can move those little legs for her one at a time, sideways, so that baby can reach the toy, grab the toy, and begin to get the idea in their head of what it is we're trying to accomplish. What we want is for baby to actually not only develop the muscle coordination and the strength, but also to learn what it is we're trying to get baby to do. Again, the pro tip is you want to make sure you cruise to the left, but also cruise in the opposite direction, cruise to the right. So the next activity is what I like to call cruising around an inside corner. Now I call this corner an inside corner because baby is going to cruise this way, but baby also has a support surface here. If baby's standing here and she kind of reaching for something or loses her balance, she will fall and land on the couch, or she can put her hands on the couch. So again, what we would do is position baby in standing, use a toy on the other side of the corner, and cue baby to move those little legs, move the legs, move the arms, move the legs and the arms, and now start going around the corner and taking those steps around the corner. Now, as baby starts to make the turn for the very first time, you want to pay attention, make sure you are right there giving baby lots of support. Okay, that is the third exercise. So the fourth activity is what I like to call cruising around an outside corner. Now this is an example of an outside corner where baby has all this support, but then when she comes around, she has to make sure that she turns. If she puts her hand and reaches here, she could possibly fall. So you want to make sure you're over this on this side to catch her as she's navigating that turn. And again, you are going to have toys on the couch, and baby is going to start moving her hands and her legs, reaching for the toy, taking steps sideways and coming around the outside part of the couch. I like a couch because it's usually at a great height for babies at this age. And now baby is around the outer part of the couch. Now, as you notice with this activity, on all of the activities, they're getting increasingly more challenging as baby is developing the skill to be able to do these activities. That's what you want to do. You want to keep making it a little bit more challenging. The fifth and final activity is cruising sideways using a wall for support. Now, I like this because when you're using a couch, baby's hands will be flat like this, giving her support on the couch. Now she has to have her hands flat up against the wall. So what I like to do is have a toy, put the toy up on the wall, use one hand to stabilize baby on my leg, where she's sitting on my leg, make sure her feet are apart, and then just cue her to stand up, and then put those little hands on the wall and remain standing with her hands up against the wall, and then start taking steps sideways, just using the wall for support. This is much more challenging than cruising using the couch. So we've covered our 5 activities, but I wanted to throw in a bonus leg strengthening activity for you. And of course, it's baby squats. Squats are the best exercises for adults and for babies. We're not going to get into the benefits for adults, but let's talk about how to do it for your baby. What I like to do is sit with my feet straight out in front of me. Then I'll bend one knee like this. So we have like a figure 4 where I have one of my legs bent like this. I'll put baby to sit on my knee sideways with one of her feet on either side of my legs. I like to also make sure that baby's trunk is leaning forward slightly, that the knees are directly above the ankles in this position. And what I'll do is I'll take one hand in the back, one hand in front on her tummy, give her some support, and then cue her to stand. Now, once baby stands, I'm not picking baby up. If I need to, and if I need to pick her up, I'll bring her up kind of like halfway and cue her to complete it on her own. We can feel when our baby is actually pushing and when our baby is depending on us. And so part of the tip would be to work on just being able to reduce the amount of support that you are giving to your baby and use more like a delicate fingertip hold where you just dare to catch her if her legs for some reason collapses. But you can now have her sit and move up into standing, 1, and do some squats. You want to keep an eye on the legs, make sure the legs aren't drifting out from under her, because if she's leaning forward and her legs are planted firmly on the ground, then she is actually working both legs. What I also, a second pro exercise, a pro tip, is this position. You have baby standing, put baby to kneel. I'm going to turn her sideways so that you can see what we're doing here. As you can see, her knees are under her hips. Her upper body is vertical, her upper body is straight. And now I can have her go from this position, which like I said is called the tall kneeling position, to this position, which is short kneeling. This is a great exercise as baby goes down and up. You can cue her with your hands on her body to go down and up. It strengthens the buttock muscles, it strengthens the upper thigh muscles, and just provides a lot of stability here in the pelvic area that your baby is going to need when they're actually trying to branch out and start walking. So those are the tips and techniques that I typically use with the babies that I work with. You can use those with your kid. Please don't forget to like the video, drop a comment, and let me know which one you found easiest to do, which one you found most challenging, and what those challenges were. Let's thank my assistant here. This is baby Annie, my therapy doll. And finally, don't forget, a hug is a quiet I love you. So please, hug your babies every day, and I'll talk to you soon. Keep an eye out for my next video where I'm going to show you babies actually walking, taking their first steps, recommendations of the types of toys that I use in the home, things like walkers, what type of walkers. So keep an eye out for that video. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.